So, let's take a minute today and think about the power of prayer. The power of prayer is something that Christians and other religions believe in. From a Christian perspective, Jesus healed the sick. All right, there's verses that say to pray for the sick, and that the prayers of a righteous man will be answered. There are promises about prayer in the Bible. The thing is, none of them are true. See, as modern people, we like to find things that are true. We don't like to just make believe and pretend things are true when they're not true. Now, prayer has been researched and it has been tested, and there is no ability demonstrated for prayer to heal anybody of any physical illness, ever. All right? Never been demonstrated to have ever worked. All right? Now, Christians find that discomforting. You know, the God says that you can pray and people will be healed of physical ailments, and yet nothing of the sort ever happens. Right? Of course, there are people that are healed from different illnesses naturally. You know, cancers go in remission. There are things that happen. But when put to the test, prayer is demonstrated time and time again through peer-reviewed studies to never having worked when it comes to healing physical illnesses. Now, I want to address one thing that I do think is important. Prayer can have an effect mentally on a person, just like placebo. Placebo does have an effect on people, and it can be demonstrated in research. It's a small percentage of people that can feel better, right, and do better when they believe something, okay? But we all know that belief is all here, okay? So placebo does have an impact. Prayer has no impact any greater than placebo. Okay, now in the Bible, there are promises about prayer. And I want to read you one. And then I want Christians to think about, does this actually ring true in your life and in your church? So I'm going to read a verse verbatim again. This is going to be in the book of James. And it's James 5, verses 14 to 15. And this is what it says. Is anyone among you sick? Let them call the elders of the church to pray over them and anoint them with oil in the name of the Lord. And the prayer offered in faith will make the sick person well. The Lord will raise them up. If they have sinned, they will be forgiven. Okay, so we have here, specifically in the book of James, a promise about prayer. If anyone is sick, bring them up to the altar. Have the elders pray for them. And we see this in church all the time. They anoint people with oil on their forehead, and they pray for healings. The problem is, it does not work. Okay? And that's a pretty big problem, right? So there's been some studies done on prayer. One of the biggest ever done was by the Templeton Foundation. Now, this was a group that wanted to prove that prayer actually did have an impact. It was done in 2006. And they took all of these different people that were suffering from, a physical ailment, and they had people pray for them. Bottom line, at the end of it all, and it was a big study, right? They found that prayer had no impact whatsoever on the healing of individuals with an ailment. Zero. A big fat zero. Okay. So there are many other passages in the Bible which talk about prayer healing people. And we definitely read stories in the Bible about prayer healing people. But in reality, in the real life, it does not work. Okay? If it worked, then certainly a Christian who's faithful, who's righteous, who has the gift of healing, could go into any hospital and heal people. We know it does not work, folks. So, Christians, when you talk about prayer and you talk about the power of prayer, please include the actual data about prayer. Because someone can be sick, you can pray for them all you want, pray to the Lord, pray to Jesus, but in the end, there just simply is no result. And so many Christians out there believe in faith, and the faith of a righteous person is going to make things right. It's going to heal the people. And all we have is charlatans that pretend and make believe that people are being healed by the God. And it's embarrassing. It's utterly embarrassing. So at least tell the truth. Prayer for sick people has never been demonstrated to work. Ever.